and I'm going to talk to you about informative speeches. Now, you should have printed out, or at least have on a screen next to you, the informative speech packet while I'm going over the introduction. What I'd like for you to do is to turn to the page that gives you your outline, and we're going to talk about the introduction. Remember that your speech is going to be either online on a video, or we can set up a time in class for some of you that don't want to send it through video to meet and give your speeches in class. Okay? So let's talk about the introduction. Here are some of the things that are part of the introduction, and you need to remember that if you don't start off a speech well, it loses its engagement for the audience. Okay? A typical introduction to a 5 to 7 minute speech should be about a minute long. Okay? Now we're talking about this because your textbook talks about giving presentations. Okay? And it's important when you're giving a presentation to make your point in different ways, but to ease your audience into what you're talking about. We're going to be talking about informative speeches. And in an informative speech, the first thing you want to do, as it's noted here on your handout, is get the audience's attention. Now I put up here the easiest way to do that is to tell a story, to tell a joke, or to give some startling statistics. Now stories or jokes are probably the easiest because everyone can tell a story easily, everybody can tell a joke. Now I'm not talking about some sadistic joke that has nothing to do with your speech. If it eases into your speech, that would be good. I had a gentleman talking about paying $15 a month for legal services. And he says, these services will be helpful for you and your spouse or your significant other. And if you have both a spouse and a significant other, you definitely need our legal services. That was a joke. And it eased him in, it was getting the audience's attention, and then he went into talking about paying for hiring an attorney by just paying $15 a month and always having an attorney to speak with. Okay. And the other thing that it does is if you get really nervous talking in front of an audience, telling a story or joke can get you to start speaking and to get some of that tension out. People love stories, people love jokes. You see, when you tell a story, some people tend to lean in because they're engaged with good stories. Okay? Or startling statistics. You could say 3 out of 5 Americans do this, or 90% of the people watching this presentation are guilty of this. So startling statistics can get people to think as well. And that's what you want to do. You want to get the audience's attention. You don't want to just bam and hit them with, I'm going to talk to you about this. You want to first get their attention and then ease them into your topic. Secondly, you need to establish your credibility. Why should the audience listen to you? How are you an expert on the topic? Well, you're saying, well, I'm not an expert. Maybe you have experience, or maybe you've done research. That's good enough. Okay? The other thing you want to mention is your interest in the topic. You don't want to say, well, I don't have any interest in this topic. I'm only doing this presentation because my boss is making me. Or in this case, I'm only doing this presentation because my instructor's making me. Well, that's not really going to get the audience's attention. They may laugh at you, but then they're going to say, well, how is this person credible? They're only doing this because they have to. Maybe you have experience in the area and you've had an interest in whatever the topic is, but tell them why you're credible by your interest. And then also tell them that you've done research, that you have experience. I've had students talk about domestic violence, and maybe they weren't the ones that were in abusive relationships, but they had a family member that was. In the videos that are attached for this topic, so you can see sample speeches, you will notice how some of the videos talk about credibility by experience and by research. So those are both two ways that you can talk about how you're credible. This is the most important part of your presentation. Even though it only may take 10 seconds, this is the most important part of your presentation. It's topic significance, or the so what question. And I guess I should put a question mark here. Should I? I don't know. Let's just put one. All right. Why should I care about what you're talking about? Who cares? Why is this important to me? You've tried to get the audience's attention. You've established your credibility. Now you need to tell the audience why it's important to listen to your speech. I had a young lady that gave a speech on makeup at Dillard's. She worked at the makeup counter. Now, makeup appeals to a female audience. Now I hope, gentlemen, that you have no interest in wearing makeup unless you're an actor. So if she wanted to give an informative speech about the different services that Dillard's offered and it's on its makeup counter, that appeals to a good deal of a female audience. So she was wondering, and she asked me, well, how am I supposed to make this important for a male? Well, you could say, and she did this in her presentation, she said, gentlemen, and she said it with humor, she says, I hope you're not looking forward to wearing makeup, but the services that we have at Dillard's are especially good gifts for your mother, your significant other, or a girlfriend. They're unique gifts. Now there's some interest for the male audience. Oh, this is something that maybe they haven't had a gift like this before. So she established the importance for both the males and the females. Okay, so how is your topic going to be interesting, and why should people listen to it? Okay, so it may only take 10 seconds, but if people don't know why it's important for them, they're not going to listen. All right, let's move over here. This is the remaining part of your introduction. Okay, your thesis statement. You're finally getting down to telling the audience what your topic is about. You're not going to do it at the beginning. You're going to do it at the end of your introduction, as it's noted on your speech packet. Okay? In one sentence, you tell your audience what your speech is about. You need to do this so that you don't just go into your speech and they're wondering, well, what is your speech about? In one sentence. Today I'm going to talk to you about pimping out a lowrider. Today I'm going to talk to you about finding the right insurance. Today I'm going to talk to you about changing your oil. Okay? You're giving them a general sentence about what your topic is about. Okay? And then you're going to give them specific details on the topic. Okay, so let's go to the oil one. Today I'm going to speak with you about changing your oil. First, I'm going to talk to you about oil filters and the function of oil filters. Next, I'm going to talk to you about the different types of oil. Finally, I'm going to talk to you about the mileage for changing your oil. Should it be 3,000 miles, 5,000 miles, or 7,000 miles? Okay? So you're going from a general statement to specific points about that topic. Okay. So to wrap it up, remember, you're first going to get the audience's attention, then you're going to establish your credibility, then you're going to tell them why it's important for them to listen. Finally, in one sentence, this is what my speech is about, and these are the things that I'm going to mention. The introduction is the most important part of your speech. Now, I want to convey it to you this way. If you've ever had an animal and you've had those dog food bags that you have to open, you know that little zip tie, zzz, and you open it like that? Or maybe you've tried to open a bag of chips before. Have you ever seen someone, or maybe you're one of those people that you get so frustrated because you can't open it and you go, and the chips explode all over the place and you made a mess? Okay, your introduction is that. Are you calling my introduction a bag of food, sir? No, I'm not. But I'm trying to convey a point to you. If you open things nice and neat, everything else flows fine. The dog food or the animal feed bag, that little string at the end, if you just pull it, everything opens up nice and neat. If you go over and get a knife or you try to rip it open, you've got a problem. It's all messy, it's all over the place. Your introduction is like that. You ease the audience into what you're going to talk about. You don't just slap them with it. Okay, let's get into this. No. Attention. The importance of it. And this is what I'm talking about. Okay? Your informative speech packet, the outline shows you that at the beginning. So let's keep that in mind while you're filling this out. If you have any questions on it, you can certainly email me.